Vibe coding is a game changing while developing any application. And today we are going to build an AI motion graphic video generator app using an AI agent called Factory.ai. Simply enter the prompt and this application will generate a beautiful motion graphic video within just few seconds. Without writing any of the code, we are going to build this complete application using a vibe coding. This is a full stack application built using a React, Next.js and many other popular tech stack. Let me walk through the application first and then we'll talk about the tech stack which we are going to use to build this complete application. Now we have this beautiful landing screen where you have option to enter the prompt. Now before generating any video you need to sign in. You sign in, simply you can add your prompt, select the duration of the video or even you can select the video type whether you want a portrait size or landscape size. Then simply enter the prompt and then click generate. Now it will start generating your video based on your input. You also have option to make a modification once the video is generated inside the existing video. Now we'll wait for the video to complete. We also integrated the ingest in order to run the background jobs, and then you will find how step-by-step way it's generating your complete video. Here you will find how the progress bar showing depends on how much percentage is completed.
A few moments later.
And if you see, it generated the beautiful video. Now you can even play the video and whatever we enter the prompt based on that, it generated the complete motion graphic video. You can even modify the video simply entering inside the chart and then it will generate based on your changes. Also you have the theme section. Here I explain how you can even apply the theme without modifying your code. For example, this is a primary color and you want to change. Let's change this primary color, and on this side you will see it automatically and instantly apply to the video. Same thing, we have the secondary color where it applied, and then you can simply change this color as well. Pretty cool, right? Everything you're gonna learn how to add this theme section, how to implement the chart section for the modification, how we can generate this complete video programmatically with the help of AI. Everything we're gonna build in this particular course. Not only that, but you also have option to export this video, and then once you click export it will start exporting your video. We added a Remotion render feature where it will render your video on the AWS cloud with free. It means you don't need to pay any money to build this complete application. All the resources which we are getting is completely free, even AI agent. And now if you see, your video is now ready. Simply click download and then it will get downloaded. Pretty good, right? So this is a complete application which we are going to build completely from the scratch using an AI agent. Once your video is generated, you can see your video on the home screen. Whenever I hover on that, you will see it automatically start playing. So this one also you're gonna learn how to do it. And if you see, I already built a lot of different style of videos and project, and you will learn how can we build this complete project with the help of AI agent. If you want to try this demo, I will put the link in the description. Now we have this beautiful landing screen where you have option to enter the prompt. Now before generating any video you need to sign in. You sign in, simply you can add your prompt, select the duration of the video or even you can select the video type whether you want a portrait size or landscape size. Then simply enter the prompt and then click generate. Now it will start generating your video based on your input. You also have option to make a modification once the video is generated inside the existing video. Now we'll wait for the video to complete. We also integrated the ingest in order to run the background jobs, and then you will find how step-by-step way it's generating your complete video. Here you will find how the progress bar showing depends on how much percentage is completed. And if you see, it generated the beautiful video. Now you can even play the video, and whatever you enter the prompt, based on that it generated the complete motion graphic video. You can even modify the video simply entering inside the chart, and then it will generate based on your changes. Also, you have the theme section. Here I explain how you can even apply the theme without modifying your code. For example, this is a primary color and you want to change. Let's change this primary color, and on this side you will see it automatically and instantly apply to the video. Same thing, we have the secondary color where it applied, and then you can simply change this color as well. Pretty cool, right? Everything you're gonna learn how to add this theme section, how to implement the chart section for the modification, how we can generate this complete video programmatically with the help of AI. Everything we're gonna build in this particular course. Not only that, but you also have option to export this video, and then once you click export, it will start exporting your video. We added a Remotion render feature where it will render your video on the AWS cloud with free. It means you don't need to pay any money to build this complete application. All the resources which we are getting is completely free. Even AI agent. And now if you see, your video is now ready. Simply click download and then it will get downloaded. Pretty good, right? So this is a complete application which we are going to build completely from the scratch using an AI agent. Once your video is generated, you can see your video on the home screen. Whenever I hover on that, you will see it automatically start playing. So this one also you're gonna learn how to do it. And if you see, I already built a lot of different style of videos and project, and you will learn how can we build this complete project with the help of AI agent. If you want to try this demo, I will put the link in the description. Now let's talk about the tech stack. We are going to use a Factory.ai as our AI agent. Factory.ai is very powerful agent to build any softwares. Factory.ai's Droid you can embed directly into your workflow like any IDE, web, CLI or even Slack as well, and you can start creating your application instantly. If you see, Factory.ai also available to different platforms which you can use it. Even if you want to manage your project, Factory.ai agent will help you there. Now, in order to get the free Factory.ai for you, simply click the link in the description, fill up this form, enter your email address and then simply submit it, and then you will get a Factory.ai for free. Okay, so the link is in the description. Also, the next popular feature we are going to use is an Arcjet. Arcjet is help us to secure our application. It provides a lot of different features to secure your app, your API endpoints or even your AI models. It helps us to prevent the attack detection. You can even use to manage your API calls or even use for AI abuse and bot protection. You can also use to integrate with the sign up for protection so that no one will directly sign into your app. And adding an Arcjet is quite easy. In many of my projects, I always use the Arcjet, and in my many previous video, you will find I use an Arcjet to secure my application. And you will see how easily you will integrate the Arcjet into our application. And as you know that this is the full stack React Next.js application, so we are going to use a Next.js as our base framework to build this complete full stack SaaS application. Also, to generate the video using an AI programmatically, we are using a Remotion. Remotion is a very powerful library to make video programmatically, and you will learn how to integrate inside any web application, and at the end how you can render this Remotion video so that you can easily download it. So guys, if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, press like button, press notification bell icon so that you will not miss any update. If you want to get and all the exclusive courses and their source code, you can simply go to the tubeguruji.com, and here you will find all the exclusive courses and the source code. This is the new website we built it for the Tubeguruji, where you can learn each project chapter by chapter. You can track your progress, you can access the source code, you can see the live demo, you can even watch on YouTube, and once you finish your project, you can simply submit your GitHub repo or upload your project, and then you will get certificate for the completion as well. So you can join the pro membership and get all the courses and source code access. Also, recently I launched a brand new task manager application called TaskyBear, which is an AI to-do planner and habit tracker, where you can track your daily routines, you can track your habits, and even add a task or to-do task for yourself or for your family as well. It's a free application and available for iOS and Android user. You can simply click the link in the description to get access and install it completely for free and get access to all the features available to plan your perfect day. So guys, without doing any further delay, let's begin to develop this AI motion graphic video generator application. Time to create our Next.js project. So if you're new to the Next.js, don't worry, because we are gonna implement everything step by step. Simply go to the nextjs.org site, and here you will find an official website of the Next.js, all the features provided by the Next.js and many other things. Now, in order to create the Next.js project, you will see this command, right? Simply copy that as it is and then open a folder where you want to create a project. Then open a terminal at that folder. If you are using a Windows, then make sure to open a command prompt. Then simply paste the command which you copied. Now at latest will install the latest version of the Next.js. But if you want to install any specific version, then make sure to add that version number and then hit enter. After that, you need to provide a project name. So here we're gonna simply say AI motion graphic video generator. You can give any application name and then hit enter. Then here you have some recommended setting as well. In that we'll find that you can it comes with a TypeScript, ESLint, Tailwind CSS, app router. If you want to use any previous setting, you can select that option, or you can even customize your setting. Now in this case, I will go with the recommended setting, which has the TypeScript and the Tailwind CSS along with the app router. So hit enter, and if you see, it start installing some packages like React, DOM, Next.js, and some dev dependency for a Tailwind CSS and TypeScript. Once the project is created, you will find a success message. Perfect. Now simply open a Visual Studio Code. Inside that, I will open the project which we just created. So let's go to the document in my case, and then I will open this project. Now instead of telling to the AI to create this project, it wasting your tokens, and that's the reason we are creating some basic things which avoid usage of token. Okay, now on the left hand side you will find some of the folders and files get created. Now let me walk through each of these folders. Now very first folder, which is the app folder, which contain all your code, all the components, pages, everything which will be in the inside your app folder. Then we have global CSS file which contain all the CSS which is applied throughout the application. If you want to apply anything, like say you want to apply a background color throughout the application, then you can mention that inside the global CSS file. Also, now we don't have any tailwind css.config.ts file with a version 4. It move everything to the global CSS. Then we have the layout.tsx file which contain the root layout of our application. If you see, it has the font applied to the application, the metadata which is quite important for the SEO purpose. Now I'm going to tell you how to write it a high keyword SEO using the AI. Okay, so our metadata will be properly structured, and it helps us to rank our page on Google. Then we have root layout, which contain an HTML body tag, and through that we have it's rendering the children, which is nothing but whatever the pages component gonna render, it's gonna render through these children. Then we have the default page called page.tsx file. Obviously, when we run our application, you will see this page will get rendered very first time. Then we have the node module folder, which contain all the packages which we install, right? That packages code. Obviously, we are not going to touch this folder anytime. Then we have the public folder in which we want to keep all our assets like images, fonts, any mp3 files, whichever things you want to use it from your local as assets, you can keep inside the public folder. Then we have the important file, which is a next.config.ts file, which contain all the configuration related to your Next.js application. Then we have package.json file, which contain the name, version of your application, the script to run your application or to build your application, and dependency along with their version number, and then dev dependency. If you are updating any version number or adding any packages, then make sure to install that using an npm install command. And then we have post css and tsconfig.json file. Now, in order to run your project, simply go to the terminal, click new terminal, and then it will open terminal inside your web browser. Also, if you drag this from the bottom, you will see the terminal will open. Now, inside that, simply run a command npm run dev. Sometimes if you don't have permission, right, you have to use sudo on the Mac OS. Otherwise, you can just run a command npm run dev. Then it will run your project on a port 3000 on URL localhost. Now, if I open this URL inside the browser, you will see your application is now running, and this is the default page which is rendering. Now, if I go back to our application and inside the page.tsx file, if I make any changes and save it, it will automatically reload your application. Let's say we don't want this, and I will just simply add a div tag, and here inside the div will say subscribe to Tubeguruji. So guys, if you did not subscribe to our channel, please do subscribe. And then if I go back over here, you will see a text called subscribe to Tubeguruji. Pretty straightforward. We did not even reload our application manually. As soon as you save it, it automatically reload. Now let's say you want to add a button, right? So the traditional or normal way to add a button inside your React or HTML app, just adding the HTML tag called button, and here we'll say, let's say subscribe, and then save it. Now if I go back, you will see this button is added, but it's not look good, right? Obviously, you need to add some styling or some class name or Tailwind CSS class. Let's say you want to add background black, text white, then padding to 3, and if you add something like this, then your button will look like. But every time you have to do it whenever you add any component. But what if I say there is already a library which help us to add these such kind of components, and you might know this, which is a ui.shadcn.com. Shadcn is one of the popular UI component Tailwind CSS based library among the developers, and it's very easy to use. Simply go to the ui.shadcn.com and then go to the documentation. Over here under the installation step, you will find an option to initialize the Shadcn. Either you can select the framework or you can simply run this command. Now in our case, let's say you select the Next.js command and simply initiate the Shadcn. Okay, so I will just copy this npm command. You can even use npm as well, it's totally up to you. And then inside the terminal, I'll create new terminal and then paste this command. Then we'll say yes to proceed, and then you have option whether you want to select a basic component library or Radix. So with the latest changes, you have option to select Radix as well, but we'll go with the base. And then you have option to select the icon library and the font. Over here, if you see, you have Lucid, Lucid Inter, huge icons, and there are other. I will go with the basic one, which is Nova with the Lucid and the Gist as a font, which is the default kind of thing. And now if you see, the Shadcn is now initializing. After that, if I go back over here, This is how you have to add a component. So whichever component you want to use, you can simply search that component, and once you search it, you will find an option to install that component. But in order to add all the component at once, you can simply copy this command. You don't need to copy the component name, and then you can go back to your application and paste this command. So it will give you the option which are the component you want to add. So you can select all the components by pressing A and then hit enter. Now if you see, it's installing all the components for you. So you don't need to install it every time. So right now I have permission issue access. So again, I will add it. And now in this case, it will install it. So sometimes my Mac OS, obviously, if you don't have proper permission, you have to add a sudo and then enter the password in order to add all of this file. And now if you see, you have the component folder get added outside of app folder, which contain all the components from the shared CN, which you can customize whatever you want. Then we have hooks for the response tuning purpose, and the most important, you will see a new file called component.json file, which contain a shared CN related the configuration. Here you will find which style you are using, your Tailwind CSS path, where it actually is, the icon library, which icon library we are using. Everything is mentioned inside your component.json file. Okay, so which is related to the shared CN configuration. And now if you want to add a button, so simply I will add a button component, and if you see, it's importing from the components/UI. Either way you can import it, and then you can say subscribe and then save it. Now if I go back to our app, then here you will see a button called subscribe. Pretty cool, right? So that's how it works. If you have any question, any doubt in the setup and running your application and installing the shared CN, let me know in the comment section. Now it's time to add an AI agent which help us to build our complete application. And for that one, we are going to use a Factory.ai. Factory.ai is one of the topmost AI agent to develop the softwares or any web or mobile application. You can even use this Factory.ai directly inside your terminal, any IDE which is your favorite, you can directly integrate that in there as well. And there are a lot of different ways that you can use this Factory.ai, like terminal, web, CLI, even in your Slack integration, and help us to manage your project as well. Now Factory.ai has their own AI model as well. With the help of CLI, you can use this droid to complete your all the work. You can build your any project, or if you want to understand or learn about any project, you can simply use this Factory.ai. They have their dedicated web browser as well, from where you can run these AI models. And most important and interesting thing about the Factory.ai, you can bring your own key. Obviously you can use any API key directly with the Factory.ai, so like ChatGPT or Claude or many others. Factory.ai already have their inbuilt AI models like Claude, GPT, Gemini, and many other popular, which you can directly use that. Now obviously Factory.ai right now it's not free, but for all of my users I am giving you the free Factory.ai subscription. Simply click the link in the description and simply enter your email address. Once you enter your email address, submit it, and then you will get a 1 month of Factory.ai subscription. So make sure to subscribe and then enter your email ID. I will put the link in the description so that you can directly use this Factory.ai. Now the next step is simply create an account if you don't have already. Once you log in successfully, you will see all your session, as well as you can track all your usage by going to the setting. Here you will find an organization setting, which you can directly integrate this Factory.ai with some tools like Slack, Linear, Jira. You can even connect your any project with the help of GitHub, GitLab integration, or even Notion as well. You can even create an API key in order to use the Factory.ai as your AI model in your project. Then you can now obviously see your billing, and there are a lot of other features you can explore inside this Factory.ai. If you want to create work directly on the web browser, you have option to directly start building any project. Here you have option to select any AI model, and if you see, they have bunch of popular AI model along with their own Droid core AI model as well, which you can use it. Okay, now first thing first, obviously we want to use inside our VS Code. So I will go back to the VS Code, and inside the VS Code you have option, either you can use it inside your terminal or you can use it as a VS Code extension. Now on the Factory AI website you will find an option, this particular curl command. In order to install the Factory AI, simply copy that as it is. If you are using Windows, make sure to click on Windows and copy that, and simply run that in a terminal or command prompt. So inside of VS Code I will just enter that command and will execute it. Once it is downloaded, you just need to type droid. So here I will type droid, hit enter, and then your droid will start. Pretty awesome, right? And very straightforward. Now simply you will get an option to log in. So I will hit enter and it will log in, set confirm, and once you confirm, go back to the VS Code, and then again you will get an option to install the VS Code extension or skip for now. Obviously you can start installing the VS Code extension just in case if you don't like to use a terminal, but I will definitely recommend a terminal because terminal uses a lot very minimal tokens. Okay, so that's the reason we are going to use a terminal throughout this project. Now once your terminal ready, let's say send hi message, and then in reply you will get the response. Say okay. Now currently we are on Opus 4.6 model, but for a easy task you can anytime switch any model. Okay, now there are a couple of options. You can just type a tab button, and if you see the model getting changed, okay, or you can simply add a slash model, hit enter, and then you will find your or any other model which you want to use. You have the Minimax M2.5, Kimi, or you can even use a Gemini. Now this particular actually show how much token it will use. Okay, how multiply token it will use. So obviously Opus is a very high-end and costliest model, but the Minimax M2.5 is very popular right now, which you can also use that. And let's select this Droid core and we'll go with that. So I will hit enter because it's use very low cost model. I will select the reasoning as a high. Okay, and then you can start implementing anything you want. Okay, as simple as that. Now if you want to implement landing screen, you can just type that you want to build a landing screen, and then it will start implementing the landing screen for you. Now that's how easily you can set up the droid. Now as I say earlier that you can bring your own key. So I will put the link in the documentation for this Factory AI. Simply click on it, and then you will find this documentation where it will show you how to configure your own API key. Simply you have to create a new folder called factory setting.json, and then inside that you can add your model, you can add a display name with a base URL, obviously, which is the API URL which you have. If you are using an open router, it's quite straightforward, or if you are using ChatGPT, Gemini, add that base URL, add a API key, and simply run your model. But as I say that if you fill up this form, you don't need to get any API key because you are getting a free Factory AI model to use it. Okay, so make sure to fill up that, enter your email so that you can get access to the Factory AI. After this, if you want to use your own model, make sure to integrate it, and then you can restart your droid in order to see that model as under the custom model, and then your droid is ready to work on your project. Now before implementing any pages, let me walk through the complete application workflow. When user come to our app, our application will check if user is a new user or existing user. If it's a existing user, then obviously user can enter a prompt. Otherwise user have to sign up, and obviously once user is signed up, then we need to save that user information to our database. Once user enter the prompt for which he want to create a video, then we're gonna generate a structure scene prompt. So if, for example, if user want to generate for a 10-second video, obviously that video might have multiple scenes, and for each of the scene we need to generate a structure prompt, and for that one we are going to use an AI model. Obviously we are going to provide a skill.md file which I'm going to tell you how to create it, so that we can just provide to the AI model and which will generate a structure prompt for us. After this, we need to generate a motion graphic code for each of that scene, and again for that we are going to use an AI model, and then we are going to pass that generated code to the Remotion composition or player, so that you can view the complete generated video, and then at the end we are going to play and download the video. It seems little bit complicated when you look this complete workflow, but trust me, it's very straightforward. Now, the very first screen that we want to add is a landing screen on which we want to add a header. Now let's create a landing screen for our application. If you see in this mockup where we have the header, the logo on the left hand side, there are some options like home, pricing, contact us, or you can add more option. Then the user profile icon on the right side. If user is not logged in, then we can show get started button. After this, inside the hero section, you can add some header, some small subtitle, and then an input prompt section where user can add his input. Also over here we gonna add a drop down to select the duration, whether it's a 5-second video, 10-second, 15-second. Then the aspect ratio, whether it's a 9:16 or 16:9, and then the send button. Obviously once it's sent, it will navigate to the new page, but it is very important to check whether user is signed in or not. If user is not signed in, then we are going to show a dialog in order to sign in or sign up in this application. Otherwise, it will navigate to the next screen. Obviously, if user is already signed in and user have some project created, it will show the user project. Otherwise, it will show the other user project created if user is not signed in. Okay, so this is just a first landing screen. Obviously, this is similar to what ChatGPT or many popular AI model has. Okay, now let's go back to our application in VS Code, and inside this currently we don't have any landing screen, right? So I will open the terminal, and inside the terminal, in order to start the Factory.ai droid, just type droid. Droid. So inside the terminal, just type droid in order to start the Factory AI. Okay, and if you see, now you have option inside terminal to enter your prompt in order to create a landing screen. Now it is very important to mention each small detail, so in order to generate this particular UI. Now obviously if you want, you can change any model, okay, or you can keep the existing model as well. So I'm gonna select this Sonnet 4.6 for a first time because it will give you the proper theme for our application. So first thing, I want to build landing hero section for my AI graphic video generator app. So add a header with logo on left, and app name is with motion AI. Okay, then options in center. So what are the options you want to give? You can mention like home, then pricing, contact us, okay, then user profile icon on right if user login, else show get started button. So this is all about the header. Now we'll talk about the hero section. In hero section, I want to add heading, subtitle and input prompt text area. Okay, obviously this is nothing but the input prompt text area, but if you want to know what kind of design you want, simply go to the ui.chatcn.com, go to the component, and it has one component called input group. Now inside this input group, if you see, we have a lot of different input group type, right? And one of them is similar to what we needed. Okay, obviously if you explore more option, you will find over here, but you can also mention that okay, you can use a Chatcn input group type. So here we can say input prompt text area similar to Chatcn input group text area along with drop down option in that for video duration and add option like 5 second, 10 second, 20 second, or let's say 15 second and 20 second, and another drop down, or here we'll say instead of drop down we can use another tab for selecting screen ratio between 16:9 and 9:16, and on right send button. Okay, so that's how we mention everything what we need. Below that, add any note if you suggest anything. Okay, so just kind of note it will add, or we can just leave everything as it is. Okay, but the another important thing that we need to add below, show other user created project if existing user not logged in, else show user created project video. Okay, so this information we mentioned. Now Claude Sonnet model is very powerful model, okay, and it's little bit costlier. It will use extra tokens. So my best suggestion is you can also mention that okay, let's create, here we say let's also create color theme for our complete app. So save in 1.md file, so every time we can use color theme and rules for UI UX design. Give me high quality UI UX design for this app. Okay, now once you add this particular prompt, you don't need to use a Claude at all, because every time any other AI will refer your existing UI and theme and it will implement on top of it. Okay, so this is the one of the best recommendation I will suggest you. Okay, now simply make sure to copy this prompt, okay, if you want to copy, and then simply hit enter. Once you hit enter, automatically the Factory.ai's droid will start thinking on that one. It will also create a plan for you, all the tasks, and if you see it start already reading all your file. Okay, and after this, once that is done, it will start implementing all the code one by one. Now we'll wait for the result, and once it is finished, you will see inside our default page.tsx we have this complete code written by the AI agent, and here we have this UI_theme.rules which has all the theme rules which is mentioned inside this file. So next time whenever AI generate any pages, it will take and refer this particular page. Now if I go back to our landing screen, you will see this beautiful landing screen as well. Okay, now obviously here you have option to enter the prompt, whatever we mention inside our prompt to the AI agent, it added everything for us. Pretty cool. Here we have this drop down as well, and you can even switch between the screen size as well. And if you scroll down, you will find other user created project. Pretty nice, right? And that's how easy with the Factory AI you can write the code for you. Now, next thing, we are going to implement lot of different feature in this particular course. So make sure to watch the complete course so that you will implement this complete project. If you still did not subscribe to our channel, please do subscribe. Now, next important thing that we need to implement is a database. We need to set up a database for our application in order to store all the records. So inside our terminal, we are gonna simply create a new session, or obviously you have option to start a new session by clearing it. And once you clear, you can even change this model, and inside that I'm gonna enter. So in this particular project, we are going to use a Prisma. So here we're gonna update as implement Prisma database for our app. Make sure you will use Prisma setup or Prisma DB for all applications data. Okay, I think that's all we needed, because you don't need to provide any other details. He will immediately understand and simply send it. Once you send, we'll wait. Obviously it will create implementation plan first. If you see it, exploring the project structure, installing the Prisma, creating Prisma schema, Prisma client, and then run it. Obviously we're gonna create, or we need to get the Prisma database URL as well, but first let implement and integrate all of this detail. And if you see, the Prisma is now implemented. Obviously by default it added three models inside the schema. The one is user, project, and generated video. Obviously in order to run the Prisma, you just need to run a command npx Prisma Studio in a new tab. Whenever you want to apply any new changes, you can simply run Prisma migrate dev, and in order to generate a client after schema changes, say npx Prisma generate. Now inside the new terminal, I will just run a Prisma Studio, and if you see, it open on the port localhost 555, and here you will find three different tables. Okay, obviously you can open it here, and then you have option. Obviously you have option to add a record and make all of the change, but for now your Prisma is ready to use. And that's how easy it is with the Factory AI. You can just command to the AI agent and he will update it for you. Now this is just a placeholder. Okay, obviously we're gonna change that later on based on our requirements, because in next step we're gonna implement the authentication, and based on what information we want to save, we're gonna tell to the AI agent, and based on that it will update your user table as well. So currently our Prisma is running locally. We did not connect it to our any remote URL. So under the Prisma folder, if you see, the new folder get created for the migration. Here we have the Prisma configuration along with the schema, and we have the dev.db, which is nothing but a local database. But inside our .env file, if you see, the database URL is pointing to the dev.db. But here you can directly connect to the actual real database from the Prisma. So simply head back to the prisma.io, and inside that create a new account. Now obviously this Prisma is free to use, so you don't need to pay anything. Okay, and then we'll go to the dashboard. Here, if you don't have any project created, make sure to create a new project, and inside the project we will find an option called connect. So here you can connect to a new database, or if you have existing data you can import it. So in our case we can directly connect, but if you have any other option that you want to explore, like creating API key backups and many other, you can just explore it. Now once you click connect, here you have option to generate a new connection string. So you can simply click on it and it will generate a connection string. Simply copy that, go back to your project, and then paste it here and then save it. Now once the project connection string is ready, your project is now connected to the Prisma real database. And now you can run this migrate and generate command. So inside the new terminal, we'll say migrate dev. So it's saying the URL must be in the protocol file. Okay, so we are getting this error because our provider, if you see, it's showing it as a SQLite and we want a Postgres SQL. So I will go to this our Droid, and inside that we can just simply saying update Prisma to Postgres SQL, and I already added remote database URL from Prisma. Use that, okay, so that it will just update it. So you don't need to even edit any files. You can just inform to the Factory.ai's Droid agent and he will update it for you. And once it is done, you can simply go back to this Prisma dashboard, go to the studio, and inside the studio you will see our tables. Okay, obviously these tables you will find under the schema.prisma. So inside that you have the user table along with the model with all the column defined, the project table, and then we have the generated video table. Obviously this is just a placeholder. Later on it will update automatically based on our condition or features, but for now make sure your application is connected. You are seeing these tables inside the Prisma studio, and even you can run the Prisma locally by using npx Prisma studio command, so that you don't need to visit this Prisma site every time. Now it's time to add an authentication in our app, and for that one we are going to use a Clerk authentication. Clerk is one of the best authentication service provider in the market with a lot of different features. Clerk has their inbuilt UI, which in just one line of code you can add it to your any application and enable any kind of social authentication like Google, GitHub, Microsoft, Facebook, or even email password and SMS authentication as well. Also it offers a multi-factor authentication, organization, and many other features you will find with the Clerk. Clerk also recently launched their new feature called billing, which help us to avoid all the payment gateway integration, and with the help of Clerk, in just one line of code you can add a subscription billing model and pricing table directly inside your application, and you can just make a payment without redirecting to any other website. Clerk is directly connected to the Stripe, so that you don't need to worry about any payment gateway integration anymore. So simply use a Clerk in order to integrate the authentication and billing feature. Now in order to implement the Clerk authentication, simply inside the prompt we are going to add a prompt. We will say on click of get started, or if user enter prompt and click send, and if user is not login, then use Clerk auth for sign in and sign up model. So implement Clerk authentication. Now another important thing here, that as soon as user authenticates successfully, we need to save user information to the database very first time. So here we gonna also add save user info to Prisma DB if user sign in / sign up first time. Inside provider, here we'll say inside provider, make sure to check if user is new or existing user. Now there are two ways that it will check. Either you can use a webhook, okay, it need a little extra setup. Otherwise you can directly implement inside our application. So this provider basically will be on the client side. It automatically create a new file, so you don't need to worry about that one as well, but just make sure to add that inside your prompt. and here we just say that you can save the existing user. Save field like email, user full name, give credits default to 100. We can say okay that user can have the 100 credit by default, and created date. Okay, so these are the information that we are telling to save it. I think that's all we needed for now. Okay, and then hit enter. Once you hit enter, if you see, I am now using a Droid Core Minimax M2.5 because it's take a lot of a minimum token to generate, and obviously we already have the UI rules. Obviously it will take a refer to that one as well. Now in many cases, if you see it asks for the permission, so make sure you will allow that at every time, and then it will installing the clerk packages, configuring the clerk with the environment variable and all of this information. Okay, so just wait, and then it will automatically implement it for you. In meantime, in order to generate the new API key, simply head to the clerk, and inside the clerk you will find an option to create a new application. Inside that app, give the application name. Now in order to get a free clerk service, so click the link in the description to get a free access, and you can get a 50,000 user sign in for a free. Okay, here give the application name and then select the sign in option. Once you create the application, then you can simply navigate to the configure section. Okay, inside the configuration section you will find an option called API key. Inside this API key you can simply copy this both the key, and then we'll go back to the Visual Studio. Here obviously say allow, and inside the .env file you can simply paste this both the keys, something like this. Okay, so once you paste these keys, so you are good to go. Obviously this particular environment variable automatically AI agent will add it for you, so you don't need to worry about that. Now if you see, it's already implemented all of this sign in functionality using a clerk authentication. Pretty cool, right? Now if I go back to our app, and over here if you see, on click of get started, it's navigating to the custom sign in page where you can simply sign in with a Google, GitHub. It based on which social network authentication you enable through the clerk dashboard, and anytime you can change this. So if I go to the user authentication or SSO connection over here, you can add whichever connection you want, say the complete list, right? And in just one click you will get that particular social network authentication directly inside your clerk component. Okay, also same thing, if I type anything and click generate, it asks me to sign in first, and without sign in I cannot access any feature from the app. So sign in and authenticating the user is very important. Now also make sure inside your Prisma schema.prisma the user model is created along with all the column which we define, like clerk ID, obviously this is a unique ID, then email, full name, the credit, obviously default value is 100, and the created and updated date. So these are the column will be inside our user table. Now in order to push this updated table, you can even tell to the AI agent, or you can manually run this command called npx prisma migrate dev, which will migrate your schema and it will create your table. Now if I go to the Prisma Studio, you can even go to this Prisma dashboard, click Studio, and then it will navigate to that studio, and here you will see a new user table with the ID, clerk ID, created ad, and all of this column. Now the next thing, you can simply log into your app. So I will click get started, and then we'll log in, and once you log in, if you see, it's showing the user name, okay, along with this profile icon. And now if I go back to the studio, let's refresh it and let's hope for a best. So right now if you see, I don't think so it saved the user information. It look like there is some missing code, so that's why it is very important to test before going to the next step. So over here I will create a new session, I will change this model, and then we'll simply add, make sure to save user information once new user created. Create use provider component to manually verify if user is new or existing user, and then create new user, or we can say, and then save new user info to database. Okay, once you add that, it automatically create an API endpoint and it will save your user information. When I check this inside this API folder, we already have the post request to save the user information. So maybe we will just call this API endpoint inside the provider. And once the changes are implemented, you can simply go back to your database, and if it's not showing, make sure to refresh this application, and then you will see your record get added inside the user table. Perfect, right? So that's how you have to authenticate the user and save your newly user information to your database. Now next time whenever you try to sign up as many times and that user is already exist, it will not insert any new record. Okay, so that's how you have to add the authentication and save user information. Now the next thing that we need to do is, once user enter his prompt, select the duration and aspect ratio, we need to save all of this information into a database, and then we have to make sure it will create as a new project. So we'll assign a new project ID, and once we get the project ID, then we'll navigate to the new screen. Now this is a important part because we need to know what user entered before making any AI model operations after entering the prompt, right? So let's go back to the VS Code, and I'm gonna clear this out. I will start with new session. I will also update the model, and I will select the minimax because it has a low token cost. And inside this, now we can simply say, now once user enter prompt inside text area and select the duration and aspect ratio for video, then create new project record into database and assign unique project ID. Once record saved, then navigate to new screen with project/project ID. Okay, so this will be the path. Okay, so basically it will navigate to /project/ and some project ID. Okay, so that's what we mentioned. Limit text area character to max 2000 characters only. Okay, so this also we are adding. I think that's all we needed. After Prisma schema created, make sure to push /migrate schema changes. Okay, so we are just telling that you have to also migrate these changes. Now hit enter and then just sit and relax, because AI will do his work. Okay, and if you see, it's already created the implementation plan, all the tasks which he need to execute. Now if you see, it's implemented successfully. Now before executing anything, I'm just going to verify that we have the table created inside the Prisma, and if you see, it's created this project as a table with the ID, aspect ratio, the duration, project ID, and the prompt which user enter. Everything is mentioned inside this table. It's automatically detect what are the column needed, and then based on that it's inserted those columns. Now once that is done, if I go back over here, let's refresh it and let's enter something, right? We just wanted to test whether it's inserting or not, and if I click generate, we are getting some error. It's saying failed to create project. So in this case, in order to see the complete error, you can go to the VS Code and go to your application where it's running, and inside that you will see we are getting this error called prisma.project.create, and it's saying cannot read property undefined for this, right? Now in this case, obviously you don't need to get panic. Simply copy this error code as it is, go back to your AI agent where you are running the Factory.ai droid, and simply paste it over here, something like this. Okay, now let me delete this and paste it properly, because I think I did not copy it. So I will just copy that again and I will paste it here. Oh, again I did not copy properly, so we'll copy this error and then simply paste it here. Now it's get copied perfectly, and then send it. Now AI agent automatically check the error and make necessary fix for us. And if you see, it's immediately fix our issue. It's saying generated Prisma client, the error was caught by the Prisma client not having the updated schema with the project model, and it should work now. Okay, so let's test this out. Once it is implemented, you can simply go back and check it out. So you can add anything. So let's say create landing screen demo video or anything. You can just for the testing purpose just click generate, and if you see, it's navigating to the project/project ID. Now this is just a default value, so you can just ignore it for now, but the main important thing is generating and creating the project. If I go back to the Prisma Studio, let's refresh this project table, and then you will see the new record get added. So whichever value we select, the duration, the prompt which we entered, everything is showing along with the status. Okay, so that's how we have to create the new project. Now let's create a new screen where it will generate a new video based on our input. Also, you have option to modify that video by just chatting with an AI. So if you see in this mockup where we have the chart area section, and we're gonna add a tab called chart and theme. Inside that chart section, you can simply tell AI to modify something, and inside the theme you can even change the font colors inside the video directly. Okay, and obviously on the right hand side you will see the video generation process, and once video is generated you will see the complete video. Now there are a few steps that we need to follow in order to generate the final video, but before that let's implement the UI part first. So in this particular chapter we'll mainly focus on creating the UI so that we can simply implement the logic. So let's go back and inside the VS Code. So I already have the droid started, so I will start a new session. Inside this session, let's select the model. In this case I am gonna select the Gemini model. So you have the different option to select. Okay, you can select the whichever you like. It recently added this Gemini 3.1 Pro model. So let's select this one, and here we'll just add a prompt. So we'll say now on project page, let's implement header at top, then sidebar panel on left. So this is nothing but this one. Okay, so we're gonna tell that okay, we want a tab as well, left with tab inside sidebar panel. For tab add two option, one for chat and other for theme. Okay, then for a chart option add input text area at the bottom to chart with AI. So add proper input box at the bottom. On right side I want to show generated video, and video generation thing progress, like progress to show proper status at each step, like generating scenes, then generating video, etc. Okay, so you are just telling that basic information. Under theme tab, I want to show available, or we can implement this theme section later on once we have the config file for our video. Okay, but for now I think this is much better. So here we can say refer, and we need to just tell what need to refer. Okay, UI underscore theme underscore rules m.md file for UI UX theme, I think UX for the page, we can say something like this, and then simply hit enter. Now once you hit enter, it will start working on your request. So I will wait for the complete implementation, and if you see, it started planning each thing one by one, and our implementation is now complete. So here is the things that implemented, and if I go back to our app, you will see this beautiful UI. On the left hand side, you have chart and theme tab as well, and option to enter the message. Then on the right hand side, you will see its loading state, that it's saying your video is generating with a proper loading status. Currently, this is just a placeholder. We did not connect it to any logic yet, but it is very important to have the layout ready so that we can just connect to our logic. So make sure you implemented this particular layout. If you have any question until this point, let me know in the comment section. After implementing the UI part of this page, now it's time to understand the complete implementation workflow. Now we are going to set up an ingest. Ingest is nothing but a background running job tool where you can run your background long running APIs and it execute each step one by one. So that's the reason we are going to use ingest. Is completely free, so you don't need to pay anything for that service. Now in many of my application, I use this ingest in order to run the background jobs, long running API, and in this case, as you know that we have a lot of different steps that we need to execute, and that's the reason we need an ingest. Then second thing, we need to add we need to get the video information once user land on this page, and then after that we need to generate a prompt for our motion graphic video. Okay, now obviously over here we need to we also have option to set up the image kit for AI image generation whenever is required. The reason that we are using image kit, because image kit generate an image directly through the URL. Inside the URL you can just pass a prompt and then it will generate an complete URL. You don't need to run any third-party SDK for that. And then you can even also use the icon library whichever you want. After that, we need to generate a theme configuration. That is very important, so that you can change the theme or color or font style inside the video without regenerating the video again. So this is very interesting feature. Then we need to generate a Remotion component at the end, and if you don't know the Remotion, don't worry, I'm going to explain everything. And then at the end we are going to save the video. Now at this particular stage, this is very crucial things, okay, because everything is depend on this particular prompt. Now to this prompt we are also going to pass the Remotion. So over here, let's say Remotion agent skill, okay, and this will basically help us to write a proper prompt for us. Okay, so that's the reason we are also passing this agent skill, which I'm going to tell you how to generate this skill as well. So this is the complete workflow, okay, that we need to implement. But In order to avoid any fraud detection or to make our complete flow secure, we are going to use an Arcjet. So with the help of Arcjet, we are protecting our complete workflow. Now, Arcjet is very popular among the developers to secure your application from a lot of different things. Now, Arcjet is a running policy engine for your AI feature. It authorizes tools, control your budgets, and protects against spam and bots. And it's very easy to install as well. If you scroll down on the website, the link is in the description to get a free access to the Arcjet. Here you will find a different feature like attack detection. You can even use it for the cost and quota management. You can even protect from the bot. Right now in these days there are a lot of AI bots which is using your application. That also help us. Then it also used to span and trial abuse prevention, sign up fraud detection, and many others. Now you can simply use this npm install Arcjet /next to install this SDK, or simply click the link in the description to go to the documentation, select correct framework. So in our case is a Next.js, and simply copy this command. You can even tell to the AI agent, but just to avoid the extra uses of token, I'm installing this manually. Okay, so if you see, it will install the Arcjet for us. After that, you need to set up the Arcjet key. So this Arcjet key, you can just copy that, go to your .env file, and at the end I'm gonna paste it here, something like this, right? Now obviously, in order to generate this key, click the link in the description to create a free Arcjet account. Okay, and then simply log in to the Arcjet dashboard. If you see, there are some of the application is already running, and it also protected over here inside the one of my application. You will see at some point there is a rate limit protection I added, and it will show when it reaches everything, all the details you will find over here. Now in order to add a new site, click new site, give the site name. So here we'll say Remotion AI. Then I will simply say create, and then once it created, you will get this key. Simply copy that key and then paste it inside your .env file. Okay, as simple as that, and then you are done. Now we'll go back to the documentation, and then you can use whichever AI SDK you want, and obviously you can use this Arcjet now in order to protect your each of the API call. As simple as that. Okay, so from the documentation you will find this is the route it's created, and it mentioned how you can protect it with a different option. For example, you want to use a rate limiting, so just click on this rate limiting option, go to the intro section, that how the rate limiting works, everything is mentioned inside this. Then go to the quick start guide, that how it actually used. You can even see the actual video. So over here, once you set up the key, you have to create this Arcjet new API route, okay, which will help us to add a rate limiting. Now inside the rate limit feature, if you see, you can change this mode to live or dry run. Then you have to pass the unique user ID every time. The refill rate nothing but the how many tokens you want to refill it after a certain amount of time, and the maximum capacity of that bucket token. Now consider there is a bucket, and inside the bucket you are putting 5 tokens, and the capacity is of 10 token. So after every 10 seconds in this particular example, it will refill with the 5 tokens. Okay, so that's how it works. Now simply you can copy this example and paste it directly inside your project, but we are going to tell AI to implement this Arcjet functionality for us. Now next thing, after implementing this layout, it's time to implement this workflow. This is nothing but the logic where it will actually generate the video for us. Now first thing, I already added this prompt, so you can just copy and paste it, and it will execute or set up the ingest first, then it will fetch the video information. It will also generate a prompt for the motion graphic video. then it will generate a theme config and the Remotion component. Obviously, this agent skill we are going to use to generate components. So we'll just move this instead of over here, okay? But it's totally up to you. If you want to add this skill at this step, you can do that as well. So first we'll mainly focus on implementing this all the steps, and that's what is written inside that. For the AI model, we are going to use a Gemini API key. So I also mentioned that use the Gemini API with this particular model. Why the Gemini API? Because Gemini API give you the free credits to use it every day. So you can use it for a free. Now I will simply copy this prompt as it is. You will find this prompt inside this eraser doc. The link is in the description, so you can check it out. Then we'll go back. I'm on the drive, so I will paste this. Now in order to install the ingest manually, you can simply go to the documentation, select the Next.js as our framework, and here you will see the complete steps. Right now we are running locally. You don't need to sign up to this ingest platform until you are deploying this application. Once you want to deploy this application, then we have to create the signing key with the ingest, which I'm going to tell you at the end of this course. Now in order to run the ingest locally, you can simply copy this command as it is, and then you can paste it inside your terminal. Okay, but right now we are still waiting for the implementation. Now it's completed, and it's also saying that you need to configure the Gemini API key which is required for AI calls. That's correct. So we need to go to .env file, and inside this .env file we have to make sure we'll add this Gemini API key. So over here I will add this. Now in order to generate this Gemini API key, you can simply go back to the browser and go to aistudio.google.com. On this platform, go to the get API key. Here you have option called create API key and enter the name of your key. Once you click create key, it will generate a key. Simply copy that and then paste it inside your .env file. As simple as that. Now it will give you the free trial of tire every time, so you don't need to pay anything for it. Once you added that .env file, make sure your ingest is running locally. So we'll copy that command. We'll open a new terminal and simply run this command. Over here we'll say to proceed, and then you will find your ingest will run locally on port 8288. So just click on it and it will open the localhost. Now over here on this run, whenever there is a function running, you will see under this run tab. Then under these functions, you will see you have new function called generate Remotion video. It means the function is created successfully. In order to find it inside your code, you can simply go to the ingest folder. So right now I will collapse everything, and inside that under the lib folder, I think it is inside the lib folder under the app, and here we have ingest function called generate Remotion video. Inside this you will find there are number of steps added. Okay, so first it will get the project information, then it will generate an AI video prompt. So obviously here is the some rules for it. This is a prompt that passing to the Gemini. Okay, then you can here also mention create video max 20 seconds and minimum 5 seconds. Okay, I think that's all is enough. After this there are some instruction, then it will generate the theme config based on the prompt we generated, and if you see all of this info, that's good. Then it will also generate the composition code. Okay, now for this composition code we are going to update in a moment, but make sure everything is showing and implemented inside the Remotion video. Now next step, as inside the workflow, before executing any of the step, we have to make sure we will attach the Remotion agent skill. So simply navigate to the remotion.dev. Remotion is a very powerful library to make a video programmatically. It means with the help of your React code, you can create a programmatical videos. Okay, and this video is generated by this Remotion library. Now, simply go to the documentation, and they recently launched an AI documents. So inside that you will find an agent skill. Okay, it also supported this skill to the Cloud Code, Bolt, Chartboard. You can directly use it. But if I go to the skills, and inside that you can simply copy this npx command and then simply execute inside the new terminal. Then over here you will find an option. Obviously depends on your requirement, you can use where you want to use it. If you see, it also has the droid inside the factory skill. Okay, but in our case you can select the droid. So we'll say droid. Then the installation scope you can select as a global or for this project. Then it's a single source of truth you can mention. So I will keep it recommended and proceed with the installation. So we'll say yes for this one. And if you see, the skill is now installed. Then inside the file explorer you will see an agent with the skills for the Remotion. If I open this, you will find all the skills mentioned for the Remotion video generate, right? Obviously this will generate the proper code. Here are some rules as well, so which is very important. Obviously created two folder by mistakenly, so we'll delete one of them. So I deleted one of them, and then we have only one which we want. Now the quick thing that we need to update, so we'll go to the droid, and inside the droid I will start a new session. I will just change this model as well. So we'll say Gemini 5.3 codecs, and here we'll say I added Remotion agent skill inside dot agent slash skills slash Remotion based practices folder. Make sure to use that while generating the Remotion composition code. So inside ingest function, update prompt accordingly in order to use this Remotion skill. Okay, so this information we are just telling. Okay, so that's the reason we pass it, and then simply hit enter. So inside the generate Remotion video ingest function, we want to make sure while generating the video it will make sure to use the Remotion skill, and then once you hit enter, we'll just wait for the final result. Now over here if you see, it's added the agent skill content or Remotion skill content. Okay, so it is very important, it's make sure that Remotion skill content is passing, it's loading from the MD file. Okay, and then it passing directly to the prompt, and which is very important, so it will help us to get the proper result. Okay, now once this is done, and as soon as you load up your application, you will see inside the ingest run, your function start running, and here you will see each function executing one by one. It means each function's step run function is running, and first it will get the project information, then it's generating the complete prompt. So if you see, we have this beautiful prompt, okay, with all the details. Then it will generate the theme configuration, which is already generated as well. That's good. And now it's generating the code for us. So this complete step you can verify if something fails. You already know where it fails. Also it will show the time when it started, when it ended. Everything is mentioned inside this ingest function. And then you will see the code is also generated. Okay, perfect. And on this application side, you will see that each step is completed one by one, and now it's saying your video is ready, because inside our database you will see the status might get changed and it's saying generated and completed. See, and here we have all the details. Sometimes you might get error if your Prisma Studio is not updated. So every time make sure you are running npx prisma migrate dev command in order to update your table with a new updated schema file. So if you see, we have this schema file, and inside the project table we have more columns. Okay, so that's how at this step we successfully implement our workflow in order to generate the video through the programmatically, okay, using the Remotion. Now once we have the ingest setup, we are getting this all of this information and we are saving that. Now it's time to display that on the UI side. It means we have to play this video so that you will see what it actually generates. Now it is very important we need to protect our workflow using the Arcjet, so that unauthorized user, the user who don't have the credits will not run this workflow. So we're gonna inform to the AI model to implement the Arcjet, and along with that one we have to set up the limit protection. Okay, so this is called a Costa management. Then you can also add attack detection and the board protection as well. Okay, so inside the VS Code we're gonna simply open our Drive, and inside this we'll create a new session first. Inside that, let's change the model to, let's say, Gemini 3.1.4, and here we're gonna simply add protect ingest API call when AI generate Remotion video using AI, then use Arcjet to protect the endpoint. Okay, so we have to also make sure that our credits, which is already storing under the user table, also matching with the Arcjet limitation. So here we'll say use Arcjet quota limitation feature and update, or we can say and integrate with user credits to avoid using multiple credits. Make sure if user credit reaches or is equal or less than 0, then don't make any API call. Okay, also to generate new video completely, use 30 credits, and to modify existing video, use 15 credits. Okay, and I think that's all we need to add. Let's hit enter and let's see how they are adding this feature. Also, in the same way, you can add AI abuse and board protection, which will actually detect and block automated traffic targeting expensive AI endpoints. So you can even see the documentation, how it actually implemented, and you can tell to the AI agent. If sometimes AI did not able to implement, then you have to give the documentation or specific thing that you want to implement. For example, if you want to implement board protection, simply copy this URL and then pass to the AI agent, and if you see, it started implementing the Arcjet for us. And if you see, it's implemented, but right now it's saying that okay, this particular step is not implemented because we don't have modification code. Okay, but it implemented for the 30 credits, and you can verify that by going to the project, inside the API we have the project, and inside the create we have the Arcjet setup. So inside this, if you see, it's checking the required credit to generate the new video, which is 30. It check the user credits. Also, we'll call the Arcjet to protect to implement quota limitation. So over here, okay. And if the decision is denied, obviously it will say too many requests, please try again. And this way you can protect your API endpoints. Pretty cool, right? And that's how you can implement it. Another important thing over here, you can use this Arcjet whenever you want to limit the API endpoint at after certain time. For example, in 1 minute, user can request maximum 5 requests. In such a way, you can implement this quota limitation and you don't need to add any other custom logic. You can simply use the Arcjet. And in same way, you can use Arcjet in many other way. Okay. Now, I'm going to implement Arcjet for AI abuse and work protection as well. So I will pause the video and I will implement it as well. You will find all of this feature inside the source code. The link is in the description. So go ahead and check it out. Now inside the Remotion, there are two ways this Remotion actually works. One is using a Remotion player. You can simply pass your generated composition and then it will play your video. So it has the Remotion player which you will find in the documentation, and then you can simply learn how to use it. But obviously we are going to inform an AI agent that to implement this Remotion player. And then next we have the studio, which you can run locally and then you can even render it. But in this particular course, we are going to use a server side rendering in order to download your video. Okay, that we'll see later on, but first we'll see how to implement the player and how to display the result on this right side. So let's go back and inside the new terminal, let's start the Droid, and then I'm going to inform to the agent, I will update this model, and then we'll say now let's implement Remotion and Remotion player, and on product page on the right side, once video is generated, then display Remotion player and pass generated Remotion composition for that project video. Okay, so it will pass that composition. Make sure to pass dynamic config for colors, fonts, themes, animations dynamically to Remotion composition code. Also, based on scenes, make sure to pass proper video duration. Okay, so some of the things are very important, and once this prompt you enter, simply hit enter. Okay, now in this complete course, you have to make sure you understand the complete workflow, because based on that we are writing the prompt, and then at each step you have to know what we are doing. Okay, so right now if you see it's saying it's currently checking all the project, then it will add the Remotion and Remotion player dependency and integration. It implement a dynamic Remotion composition like all of these, and render the Remotion player on product page on the right side, okay, which we already have. So we'll wait for the final result. Once it is implemented, you can check it out. So I already tested this particular prompt, okay, and it basically generating a graph. So let's see how the result we are getting. And if I play this, you will see this beautiful video generated by our application. Pretty cool, right? And we did not even add any details. But if you want to try with a live example, let me show you. So I added some of the example. I will add more example in this one, and let's copy this example. So in this example, we are just showing a searching bar, and inside that it will search TaskyBear as a text. Then after search, it will show the feature list by the TaskyBear, like this is a AI to do planner app, and you can even track and habit tracker. So this feature we are just displaying. Now TaskyBear is a new application which I launched called TaskyBear, which is an AI to-do planner. It will help us to plan your complete daily routine, as well as it has an inbuilt AI agent which help us to plan your all the things. It will help us to track your habits. Also, you can have generate an AI insight as well, and you can even do the weekly planner. The most interesting feature in this one that you can even add your family member and assign the task directly from your app. Pretty cool app. Just go ahead and try it out. I will put the link in the description. It is available on App Store and Play Store as well. So let's go back to our project, and inside this let me create a new project. So I just copy this command and I'm adding this prompt. Let's say generate, and obviously we keep the duration as a 10 second. And right now if you see, we have this beautiful loading indicator. Currently it's only completed 10%, but as soon as it finished and finish the task inside the ingest, you will see the task is completing one by one. Now the interesting fact about this workflow that even though if you want to add any step, you don't need to modify complete code. You can just add that step run function and then it will work smoothly. And right now if you see, it showing the complete progress. And if you see, our video is now ready. If I play this video, you will see this beautiful animation. Pretty cool, right? Oh, let me play it. And if you see, it's added this beautiful search bar, and then whatever we mentioned that, okay, let's show the feature one by one, it's also added this feature list. This animation is generated by the AI agent which we just implemented. Okay, if you want to try more, you can just go ahead and try it out. And that's how you have to show whatever the code you generated inside the Remotion. Now remember a couple of things before moving to the next chapter. You might not get render your code sometimes, and you have to deal with it, because whatever the error you are getting, make sure to pass it to the AI model. Okay, now in my case it created this project preview, and we have this Remotion player. Inside that it render this dynamic component. Now this dynamic component is, we need to first get that code, whichever code is generated from our database, and then it uses the Babel standalone JavaScript library, okay, which will actually convert your code or the string code into a proper JavaScript runnable browser script. Okay, so this basically very important. If this is missing, then you have to tell to your AI agent to use a Babel standalone script in order to update your script and make it browser runnable. Okay, and that's why we added this particular feature. Now next important part, we want to add few support, like you can even add a map support. For that one, you can simply search on Google as a React simple maps. Okay, so you can tell your AI agent to integrate this AI simple map, so you can add some map animation, the graph animation, or it's a unlimited plugins you can add to your prompt. You have to just tell to your ingest function. So inside the function we already have the prompt, and inside this prompt you have to tell each detail. Okay, and obviously we are using a Remotion skill and rules in order to generate all of this code. Now the next important part we need to add is a theme tab. Inside the theme tab we need to allow give user to change the color of any of the elements or font, something like that, and that you can add it inside the theme section. Obviously we already have this configuration. So if you see, we have this video config section. In that we have all the config. Also we have this theme config, right, which basically handle your color changing and font and everything. So let's open the Droid. Now if you remember at the start, we also add the Droid Factory.ai VS Code extension. You can directly use that something like this. Basically it open the terminal again, okay, but you have quick start, you don't need to type Droid at all. Then I will change this model and I will select whichever you like, let's say GPT, and then simply enter the prompt. Now here we can say, now inside sidebar tab section, let's add theme config setting, and in there give user to give option to user to update any theme which we generated for our composition code. Okay, when user update any theme value, make sure to apply to video composition code for video. Okay, I think that's all we need to add inside the prompt. Okay, for fonts, add few fonts which we can apply, and then hit enter. Obviously there is unlimited features you can add it, like change the text, change the icon. It's totally up to you. Right now if you see, it started, it already have the plan, let it inspect the code, then it will start implementing the theme config UI with editable value and font option, and then it will connect to our composition video generation path. Okay, and then it will run the validation. So we'll wait to finish these changes. And if you see, after implementing completed, the implementation is done, and if you see, go to the theme, you will see now we have this primary color, secondary color, background color. So let's test this out. So if I change this color, and on the right hand side you will see it immediately applied to it. Okay, and obviously you don't need a save button. As soon as I select, you will see over here it's saving to our database and it gets saved. Same thing, we also have the secondary button if you want to change the secondary color. So in this case, secondary color is applied over here and it's changed. Also we have an option to select a different font, and if I select a different font, you will see it changes immediately. Okay, so you can even update the font whichever you like. So that's how the theme works. Obviously there are a lot of things you can add in this example, so you can add more configuration and everything, but for now I just wanted to show you how it actually works and how you can also add into your theme section. Okay, very straightforward guys. So I hope so you understand how this theme section works, how it wires to our project, our code, and how it automatically updated. Even though if I refresh this screen, our changes will still there. See, whatever the color we selected is still there and it's still applied to our code as well. Okay, so that's how it works. If you have any question, any doubt for this theme selection option, let me know in the comment section. Now it's time to add a chart functionality. If you want to make some changes in the design, some animation, right, it's better to tell to the our AI agent so that he will update it for you. Okay, so you can just type the message, send it, and then it will update your code. So let's implement it. Before that, make sure, so I will close all of this tab and simply go to your function.ts file. Inside that we have our complete workflow. Okay, and inside this workflow, make sure you have the modification function added inside your function. See, this modify video job, basically it will modify your existing code instead of modifying complete code. Okay, so that's the reason this modify video job is added to the function.ts. So I will add a complete prompt so that it will generate this function.ts file as well. So first thing, inside our droid, so let's open any file for now and it will open the droid. Inside this, simply add a comment. So inside chart section, when user enter and request any changes in the generated video code, then make sure to patch that changes and update the composition code for that video and re-render the video again with new changes. Now make sure, obviously here you can create a new rule file to add different rules. Okay, make sure first understand the user request first, obviously otherwise user will create at every request. So first understand the user request. If any question, ask user for confirmation and then only call modify job function from ingest function. Okay, over here we can say modify job API. Okay, because we need to have the API from the ingest function. Okay, so this information we added. Also save all the chart history for that project. Okay, so it is very important to keep this chart history. From the next time it will help us to AI can look back what are the changes you made and everything. Okay, so I think that's all for now, but again my recommendation is create a separate rule file so you can add all of this rule whenever you want. Okay, now hit enter. So basically it will now update your code and then you can able to add the chart. You can send the message. Right now obviously this functionality is not working because we never implemented, but now after this it will start working. Now we'll wait for the implementation, and if you see our code is implemented. So let's test this out. Now once it is implemented, let's test this out. So I already tried some of the changes, but right now if you see currently this particular feature, if you want to change to in the form of list one by one, then we can update it. So you can just say update feature list or feature options in the form of list one below each other. Okay, I think that's all we need to do, and then simply send it. Currently if you see AI is thinking on it whether you are actually requesting any specific change or not, and then he's saying okay, he got that one, now he making the changes, and on the right hand side you will see it's actually updating your video. Okay, now we'll wait for these changes, and now if you see it's saying okay, the changes is applied. Let's run it out. So right now if you see our search bar is as it is, but now we got the list, and if you see we'll see the animation and it's showing one by one. Pretty cool, right? Obviously it's a 15-second video, so it's little bit slow, but you can even tell to the AI that you have to make it faster. Okay, and obviously over here you're gonna have the theme which you can change anytime. If you want to change color or if you want to change font, it's totally up to you. You can, if you want to make this a dark theme color, you can also tell to the chart model that you want to make in the dark theme. You don't need to generate it again. Okay, so that's how you have to update your video through the chart. As you know that Arcjet is already protecting our each of the endpoints, and also I added the AI abuse and bot protection as well. Okay, but it is very important to deduct the credits from the user account, because our application is a SaaS application, is a credit based. If you user want to create more video, user have to buy the credits. Okay, so that you can make the actual money out of this app, and that's what we are going to implement now. Currently if I go back to the database and under the user table, we have the remaining only 550 credits. Okay, so every time when we are generating a video, it deduct some credits. Okay, so currently it's deduct 30 credits for each video and then 15 credits for the changes which you are making. Okay, and that's why you are seeing this credits which is updated. Now previously it was 1000, I made a lot of videos, so it's deducted to 550. That logic is already there and we implemented through the Arcjet, and now it's completely secured as well. But we have to add some setting option in order to manage it. Okay. Also in this chapter we'll make sure that whatever the project we created is displaying under this project section. So let's go back and I will create a new tab. So here we'll create a new session. If you want, you can change the model as well. So let's go with this Minimax M2.5 in this case, and here we can just simply add. Now let's create settings page. So on home screen, and make sure let me go back to our previous page. Okay, so on this page, if you user click on this profile icon, it should open the that setting option. So on a home screen, on click of user profile name or avatar, open drop down / pop over with settings option like profile and then settings. Inside setting page, add option to manage credits, then option to buy extra credits using subscription model. Okay, now obviously when we add the subscription, you have to add a payment gateway, and in order to add a payment gateway there are a lot of work to do. But as I say in the beginning, Clerk has a billing feature added. In just one line of code you can add this pricing model, make a payment, and you can handle it from there. Okay, so that's what we are going to add. So over here we can simply say using subscription model, add pricing table using Clerk. Also use Clerk profile component to manage billing inside settings. So these are information we added. Also make sure all user created project display on home screen with actual data, and replace placeholder. Show first, or I think that's all we need to do. Here we can just say show first frame as a thumbnail. Okay, and I think that's all. Let's hit enter and let's wait what it comes with. Now this Factory AI also have few options, whether if you want to go to the planning mode, you can even manage your billing directly from here. If you have any bug, if you want to solve, you can even start with the bug response. There are a lot of features you can explore it inside this Droid, and I like it very much. Okay, so you can definitely give a try. I already added a link in the description so that you can get a free access to the Factory AI. Now it's implemented, and if you see now, if I click on this, you will find this drop down option. If I go to the profile, you have this profile option where you will see the available credits. Obviously here we need to update that each video cost 10 credits. It's supposed to be a 20. Then under the subscription section you will see a starter, pro and enterprise plan, and in the billing section you have option to manage the billing as well. After this it also fetching all the user created project video. If I click on it, it will navigate to that particular project where you can play it. If you want to edit, you can even edit that project as well. Okay, so that's how it basically updated our home page with the setting and the user project. So also right now on this project we don't have any thumbnail, so it has a little bit work because currently we are not generating any image thumbnail, but you can also generate an image, or you can use the existing code to display it as a Remotion player. That also you can do it. Obviously later on I'm going to update this project, so this source code contain all the necessary information which you needed. Also I wanted to show you one example of the video which it just created. So over here, if you see, we have this beautiful animation of the iPhone history. It's showing in the form of timeline. If you see how beautifully it generated. Now, in order to generate manually, it takes hours of work, right? But with this application now, you can generate in a seconds. And obviously you have option inside the theme to change the color and everything. You can even change the background, whichever background you want. Just update it as per your requirements, and once you update it, you can just run your video. Okay, so until this point, if you have any question, any doubt, let me know in the comment section. Now our application is almost ready, except one big feature, which is downloading or exporting the video. Once your video is ready, obviously we need to make sure it will download it so that you can use it anywhere with a high quality and resolution. The question is how to do it. Obviously this is just a Remotion player, okay? This is a programmatically code which actually show you the video, but it's not help us to download. So inside the Remotion, we have a server-side rendering option where you have to add some configuration, and then you can easily convert your video into a downloadable file. Let me walk through how it actually works. When user trigger a render, means when user want to download, a lambda function get trigger. Okay, so obviously in the lambda function we have the Remotion configuration, and which actually get render, which bundle all your Remotion file and functions, and then it save your video inside your S3 bucket. Now obviously we need to use two important services from the AWS, which is Remotion Lambda and S3 bucket, and once it is saved, then you can easily download it. But now the question is, does it need a payment? No, it doesn't need payment, because AWS give you the 1 year of free AWS account services, and also it will give you the $200 of credit, which you can use it towards Lambda and the S3 buckets. Also there are certain, every month you will get certain usage for a free, so it means it's completely kind of free only. Okay, but first thing first, we have to set up the Remotion with all the index and all. So if I go back to our application and inside the Remotion folder, so if you scroll down, we don't really see the Remotion folder over here. So basically we need to tell to the AI model, now we have to on click of export button, we need to make sure it will download the Remotion. Okay, and for that one, as I say, we are using a lambda function. Now there are different ways that you can use a render. The first and the recommended one is AWS Lambda. Then you can use a virtual sandbox, a render video using a Node.js API, and the GitHub action. But the fastest and the easiest way is AWS Lambda. In many of my applications, I use the Remotion for the Remotion, and I use AWS Lambda for rendering because it's very straightforward. Each of the method has their own proper documentation. Okay, so if I go to the Remotion Lambda, here you will see how it actually works and all of the details. Okay, now obviously we'll take a reference of this one. You can even watch a video, they have proper video for that one as well. Now under the Lambda you will find an option called setup, where we are going to set up. But before that, let's go back to our code and let's add some details. So over to and tell AI agent make our application ready to export the Remotion video. So here we'll say on click of export button on project page, I want to download Remotion video using AWS Lambda. So make sure to create Remotion root config and index file, so I can pass my Remotion composition to export and download, export and render video using AWS Lambda function. okay, something like this. And I think that's all we needed for now. Here also we're gonna read also create ingest function to export video and make sure to get all component, all Remotion composition code and pass it as a component to AWS Lambda export function to download the video. Okay, so you have to tell each of the step how it actually works. So that's the reason I already gave you the workflow what are the steps we need to take, and then after that just click enter. Okay, so AI agent will automatically implement all of these steps for us, and if you see, it's implemented all the AWS Lambda things. So inside the export.video, it created a new function, and this function basically trigger our AWS Lambda render function. Over here, if you see, we need to provide a Remotion Lambda region, function name, server URL, everything. Also, it created a new folder called Remotion, and inside that we have a Remotion register and the type. Over here we have the Remotion video through which our composition we are going to pass, and then we have also set up this generated composition as a default one, and to this generated composition, that this composition basically use it inside the render media on Lambda. If you see over here, now make sure at one time, it is sometimes impossible to set up everything. You have to give everything step by step. If it's not there, okay, if the code is not generated, make sure to it will generate it. You have to tell to the AI agent again to make this fix. Also, if you want to add this functionality manually, you can visit my any short video generator video like this one. In this video, it basically mentions how to generate that kind of video. Also, there are a few more video you can find it where I already teaches how to export the manually, so you can import that code as well. Okay, so let's try it out. Now obviously we are not done yet because we have the code set up, but we need to set up AWS Lambda. Okay, so first thing first, let's go to the AWS Lambda setup and then copy this code. So from the Remotion documentation you will find this all the steps. Simply go back to your VS Code, and inside that we'll install the Remotion Lambda. After that we have to create a role policy. So make sure to log into your AWS account. Okay, then click on this AWS account IAM policies section. So if you see, it navigating to that page directly. Then we have to click on create policy and then click JSON. So here we have option called create policy, then click JSON, and after that in your project type npx remotion lambda policy role. So you have to type this command, okay, and then it will generate a JSON for your AWS. So let's type this one and let's see what we are getting. And if you see it, we got the JSON. Copy this JSON as it is. So we'll copy that and simply I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, so over here if you see, we have the policy created. After this you just need to click next. Obviously make sure to follow this one, and then you have to give this same name. Now I already have the Remotion Lambda policy created at many places, okay, but I'm gonna change this to, let's say, with motion AI. Okay, I will add this name at the end just for because I already have the policy name Remotion Lambda policy. Okay, and after this you have to leave the other field as it is and then click next. So over here we create the policy, and if you see, the policy is now created. Okay, after this we need to create a role. So we'll open this new tab and then we'll click on create role. So let me close this one, and over here we'll click on the create role. Then inside that we have to under the use cases select the lambda. So over here under the let me see. So when we click on the create role, okay, let's go to the use cases, and here we'll select the lambda. If you see, we got the option called lambda, and then once you select the lambda, click next. Then under the permission policy, we have to filter with our name which we gave in the previous step, okay, and we have to check it. So we'll go to the next. So I will click on lambda, and if you see, we got the different option. The one which we created just now, I will select that. After this, we need to give the name Remotion lambda role. Obviously in my case I will change this, but you can give the exact same name if you did not have the already. Then we click next. I will change this to with motion AI, okay, and I think that's all we needed. And then leave other field as it is, and then simply click on create role. So here we created the role. Perfect. Now our role is also ready. Next step, after creating a policy, creating a role, we have to create a user. So just click on this AWS account IAM user section. Under that we have to add a user. Okay, so we'll click on the okay, so over here if you see, we have to go to policy, and then we have to click on add user, enter your username. So here we'll say create a user, enter the username. So let's say Remotion user, and then we'll say with motion AI. After that you don't need to check anything, and then click next. Again we have to click next without changing any setting, and you should be get option review and create step. So we'll click next, then we'll keep everything as it is. We'll click next, and then we got an option called create user. So we'll create the user. Okay, after this we need to create an access key for our user. So we'll go to the AWS account IAM user section, click on the name of the user that we created in step 4. So in step 4 we created this user, right? Under this we have to navigate to the security credential tab and scroll down to access key. So security credential, then scroll down to access key. Here you get an option called create access key button. Click application running on AWS Compute Service. So if I click on this, here you will find an option, click on that. Then here we need to add understand about recommendation blah blah blah, and then we click next. Then it will create an access key. So we'll click next. You can keep everything as it is, click access key. Obviously once you get the access key, copy this access key as it is, and then I'm gonna put inside our .env file. So inside the .env file, if you see, I already have the Remotion access key ID and access secret access key as an environment variable. Now I pasted the key. Obviously make sure you already also have the other fields ready. Okay, let's go back to the next step. So once you have the key created, if you see, this is how you have to add. So I will just go back and we'll click done. We'll say continue. Make sure this key will not be available later on. Okay, so make sure to download it. After that we have to add permission to the users. So simply click on this AWS account IAM user tab. Inside that you have to click on your user which you just created and click on add inline policy. So this is the user. Then inside the add permission, click on create inline policy, click on JSON, and then you have to run this command. Okay, so we'll copy this command as it is inside your terminal, simply paste it, and then whatever the JSON is created, simply copy that JSON. So I will copy it from here. Make sure you are copying everything. Okay, and then once you copy it, paste it inside your JSON. Now if you change the name of your role, right, so make sure you are updating that one. So in my case I updated to this one, so I am updating, but if you are using the Remotion lambda role, make sure to keep everything as it is. Okay, and everything will be same. You don't need to make any change. The next step, obviously you have to leave everything field as it is and then click on create role. So we'll click next, we'll keep everything as it is and then click on create policy. So right now, okay, we need to give a policy name over here. So we'll say Remotion user policy, and then we will add a name as with Motion AI. I kept this name similar so that it will be easy for me to update anywhere else. Okay, so make sure you are on the 6th step and you are following this one. I think I by mistakenly check the another step. And then once the policy is created, so make sure your policy is created, then you can even validate this permission and all. Okay, so simply copy this because our AWS Lambda is now set up perfectly fine. Now you have to validate all your permission which you gave. So I will add a new tab, and once you hit enter, then it will show all the permission with a green check mark. Okay, it means you have the permission for each of them. Perfect. Now the next step, if I go back here, we need to deploy our Lambda function. So if you see, this is the command line to deploy our Lambda function. So we'll go back and simply execute this line. And if you see, our Lambda is now deploying and our Lambda function is now deployed, and this is the function name. So I will copy that, and then inside our .env file, I will just save this function name as it is. Okay. Next step, we need to deploy our site. So I will copy this command and then we'll paste it here. Now the site nothing but inside the Remotion folder, we have to provide this path and give the site name. So I will give the site name. Now whenever you make any changes inside your Remotion composition, make sure to deploy that every time, and then you need to pass this site name. So here we'll say source, and not source, but let me remove this to Remotion/index.ts. okay, and then hit enter, and that is also deployed, and this is the URL for that one. Okay, also the next step, we have to check the concurrency. This is very important, okay, because by default you have the concurrency limit might be a 10, and by default if 100, but if it's not there, you have to request for the increase. If I check this and run this command, you will see my quota. So currently it's showing 1000. Okay, and if you want to increase, obviously you can increase it, but if it's less, then make sure you will add a request. Okay, now you can even test this by just running the command. Okay, or you can directly run from your application as well. So if I open this and click on export, it will run, but make sure now whatever the URL is generated when we deploy the site, paste this URL, then we have to add the US East one as a region, and the bucket name is also created. So I will just copy that. So if I go to this AWS, go and search for the S3 bucket, then you will see a bucket name. If it's not there, I think it's better you can create a new one. So we'll say create bucket, and then we'll say with Motion AI. Then once you create a bucket, everything I will keep as it is, and then click create bucket. Sometimes it automatically generate a new folder for you once you render the first one. If it's not, then I will just use this one, okay, as a bucket name, and then save it. I think we are already set up everything. Now let's test this out. Also, before testing, make sure for your button it is connected the export video ingest function. Okay, so that is very important. Now if I click on export, if you see, it's started generating, and you can check inside the ingest. So over here, this is the export video, and if you see, there are some steps it's taken. So under the render video, it's not basically written any URL. This is just a log. Okay, and I don't think so it's returning a final URL, but we need the final URL. We'll update our code in a moment. But most important, it updating inside this bucket. So it's I already have the bucket name created. I think it's using the existing bucket, and this is the render ID. So this is the folder ID where your video is getting stored. Now if I go back to that particular bucket, and go to the renders, because here we have the sites launch. Okay, we will see this Remotion AI as our site. But if I go to the render and then if I paste this one as a new object and open it, you will see our file is generated, which is of just 3.2 MB. If I open this, click on object URL, you will see our video is now running properly as you saw inside the preview. Basically, it's working fine. The only thing that we need to update is export the URL and give the final URL. So here inside the VS Code we can add. So let's open a Droid, and here I'm going to update the model. I added some custom model as well, so I'm going to use that. And here we can say on click of export, show dialog with loading indicator while exporting the video. Make sure to wait for video to render and return and save final video URL in database, and also download the video. Okay, so it also makes sure to download the video locally on user's system. Okay, to be specific. Also, obviously, once it export, right, it will make sure it will download with the loading indicator and everything. So let's hit enter and let's wait for this execution. Also, one more important thing that I want to mention: whenever you make any changes inside your Remotion function, you have to make sure you will deploy your site and make sure the site name is same which you give already, right? In our case, I give it as a Remotion AI, and then hit enter. So what it will do, it will update your site with the new changes every time. Okay, on the same site. And on the right hand side, it also implemented our export functionality, so that's good. Let's test this out. And if you see, on click of export, it's showing this beautiful loading indicator, okay, with the proper dialog and loading state. And here you will see the output. Now it will wait until your video is ready, and over here our video is kind of ready. And here also you are getting an option to download the video. And here if I play this video, you will see it started video playing. Okay, I think that's pretty nice. See how cool the video is generated, right? It's a countdown video with a beautiful animation, and you have option to download it from here directly. And if you see, the video is get downloaded. Now obviously you can add on click download button directly instead of opening a new tab. So that also you can mention to our AI. So over here you can mention on click download button, directly download the video and don't open in new tab. Okay, so that also you can add it. So it will basically use anchor tag with the button click event, and it will download the video for you. Now this complete course is obviously based on our Factory.ai agent, which we use. For the protection, we use Arcjet with a clerk authentication, and we are building the complete application without writing a single line of code, right? But if you want to learn each functionality in a proper writing a code way, then let me know in the comment section. Now if you see, it's already added this functionality as well. So obviously next time when you export it, let me refresh this, and whenever you export it, it will just download your video. So guys, that's all for this particular course. And obviously if you have any question, any doubt, let me know in the comment section. Now its only thing that is pending is to deploy this application on the cloud. Okay, so deployment is quite easy. You can refer any of my code and learn how to deploy it on the cloud. Okay, so that's all. If you have any question, any doubt, let me know in the comment section, and we'll see you in the next video. Now let's deploy this application on the cloud so that you can share your project with your friends and start making money. Now, in order to deploy this app, first thing you need to push your code to the GitHub. If you don't know how to push your code on GitHub, you can watch any of the previous video and find the last channel called Deploy App. In that, you will find that how to push your code to your own GitHub repo. Once that is done, simply go to the Vercel.com. Vercel is a free cloud service providing app where you can simply connect your repo to the Vercel and then you can simply deploy it. Now over here you find an option called add new project, and inside that make sure to connect your repo. Okay, so I already connected. So over here you will see just now I push all of my code, so and that repo name is coming at the top. I will say import. After this it will automatically detect your framework. Obviously we are using Next.js, so we'll keep everything as it is. But under the environment variables, you need to add all the environment variables which you use. So go to the .env file, copy everything as it is, and then simply paste it here. It will automatically detect each key and its value. Okay, and then at the end click deploy. As simple as that, right? Now sometimes if there is any error or something comes up, make sure to fix it. But before that, the proper way to do it, simply inside your terminal just run a command npm run build. Once you run the command, then your application give you any error if there is any. Otherwise, if your build is successful, it means you are ready to deploy your application on the cloud. Now we'll wait to deploy our application, and if you see, our application is now deployed. If I click on this, it will show you the domain on which it is deployed, and now you can access this app anywhere through this domain. You can even add your own custom domain, and over here if you see all our project, perfect, and you can even start it. But before that, obviously our application asks for the login, so we'll click get started and simply log in. And once you log in, you can simply enter any prompt which you want. So I already have one, so I will paste it here. You can even select what kind of resolution you want, how much second you want, and simply click generate. Now if you click generate, it will not generate anything. Okay, and if you see, it's saying generation failed. That's because our ingest function is not yet connected to the cloud ingest. Currently ingest is only inside the local. The question is how to fix it. So you need to connect your ingest to your actual application. So for that one, we'll go to the ingest.com, and inside that simply create a new account if you don't have already, or you can simply sign in. Once you sign in, then over here you will find an you have option to sync your new application. Now there are few applications is already running. Okay, and you can see even all the metrics, everything. Okay, so the question is now how to do it. So simply go to the integration, or you can go to this app section, click sync new app, and here you will find an option called sync with Vercel. Just click on it and go to the Vercel configuration. Also you have option over here called integration. It's totally up to you. Once you jump onto this, go to Vercel configuration, search for your repo. Okay, because whatever the application you deployed on Vercel, it will list it out over here. If the Vercel is not connected, make sure to sign in inside the ingest with the Vercel and give access to all the project. And now over here I will just search, see the AI motion graphic video, right? Currently it is disabled, so we'll go to the configure, and inside that you have to enable this. Okay, so we'll enable it. Also you have to give the path for this one. So for a path you just need to copy this domain, and then just at the start add this API ingest. Okay, and then save this configuration. And once you enable, it will automatically add the signing key inside your environment variable. So if I go to the projects inside the Vercel, select the project which you just added, and then go to the setting. Inside the setting you will find environment variables. If you don't see over here, it means our process the steps is not completed yet. At the top you will see an error saying Vercel deployment protection might block syncing. Use the deployment protection key option below to bypass. Now the question is how to create this deployment protection key. So inside your Vercel project and go to the setting, here you will find an option called deployment protection. Just click on it. Currently it is enabled, but if you can either disable it or you can create protection bypass automation key. Just click on add, and here you can even leave this blank. Let's say click add only, and you will get this key. Copy this key, go back to your ingest, and then simply add this key over here, and then click save configuration. And now if I go to this environment variable, you will see all these ingest event key, signing key automatically get added for you. Okay. Now if I go back to the deployment section, build and deployment, it might get restarted our deployment because we added a new key, and if you see, the deployment automatically triggered for you. Okay, it means our ingest is now connected. And if I go back inside the ingest, just refresh the screen, then over here you will see for your AI motion graphic application it is enabled. Okay, but once it is deployed, then you will see your application under the app page, and under the app you will see your add video generator is now showing. If it doesn't show over here, go to the sync new app and you can simply enter your app URL. That's all, because we already sync with the Vercel, right? So sometimes you have to sync with the manually as well. And now next time whenever you generate anything, it will work. So let me copy the prompt and I will paste it here. I will just refresh this once, so making sure that everything is there, and then simply click generate. And then once you click generate, you will see our video generate now running. Okay, it means it's working fine, and on this application side your video is now generating. And if you see, our video is now ready, and if you see how beautifully it generated, it just showing these 3-step video generation, and we have these beautiful steps as well. Pretty cool, right? Now again, if you want to export it, simply click download, and then your export video is getting exported now, and here the video is now downloaded. So that's how, guys, you have to deploy your application on the cloud. If you have any question, any doubt until this point, let me know in the comment section.